ನಮಸ್ತೆ, ನಾನು ವಿನತ್. ವಿಶ್ವಆರೋಹ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಈ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಕರಿಯರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ಅಂತಹ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತಾಡಿಸಿ ಅವರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟೀಸ್, ಅವರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನ BMS ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಿಂದ ಜಪಾನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಜಪಾನಿನ ರೊಬಾಟಿಕ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಒಂದು ಇನೋವೇಟಿವ್ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟಿಂಗಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಜಗತ್ತಿನ 10 ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ಗಳಾದ ಕೆಲಾಗ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ MBA ಕಲಿತಿರುವಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಅಕ್ಷಯ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಐ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಯು ಆನ್ ದ ಶೋ.
Hi, Chika. Thank you so much.
Yes, Akshay.
Pleasure to be here.
Yes. So, first of all, thank you so much. ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನಿಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ವೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಯು ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಡ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು. ಎಸ್. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಸೆಷನಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕವರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಕರಿಯರ್, ಹೌ ಟು ಚೂಸ್ ಅ ಕರಿಯರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್, and what are the preparation that needs to be done to choose once you choose a career. And then we're going to talk about soft skills, how important is the communication skills in your life, and what is the difference that it's going to make in your life. Adondu matte we want to talk about AI, which is a very hot topic in the market, and you've been working with AI Japanನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ್ಲಿಂದ, so a lot of interesting stories expecting from you ಅಲ್ಲಿ, and also how to deal with failures. I'm so glad that we're going to be having this conversation with you, Akshay. Welcome to the show. Please tell me your journey with VishwaAroha, how it started.
Yeah, I think it just feels like yesterday ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಊರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ I spoke to the students last year, and I absolutely truly respect this initiative. I think it's a great idea, and community-ನ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು how do you inspire the next young set of leaders who are about to start their careers. And I think that's a great mission, and bringing people from all industries, all walks of life to be able to share their stories and their experience, hoping there is that one kid in the audience who can relate and who will take that step to building their future. It's absolutely exciting to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And I'm also very honored to be here in the first episode of this series. Looking forward to the long-lasting legacy this will set
Yes.
for our community.
So nothing delay ಮಾಡಿದೆ. So I'll just directly start off with the questions, Akshay. As a career, engineering, and from there you took to MBA. So how did this happen from an engineer to an MBA? So we'll start from that.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ initially I was interested in technology, especially robotics. Like robots ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ it was very fascinating, growing up. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ I did mechanical engineering, and in that ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ I was focusing on robotics. So courses ಆಗಲಿ electives ಬಂದಾಗ third year, fourth year ಅಲ್ಲಿ, and I knew ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ something in the field of technology ಏನಾದರೂ either on the programming side or towards mechanical side explore ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. And luckily I got a chance. ಈ Japanese company in the time they were looking for Indian engineers. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ they had come to my college, and ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಕ್ರೂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಈ ತರ we like your profile, but ಇದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಎನ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಜಪಾನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಕಲಿತೀರಾ ಅಂತ. So I was like, okay, this is a great chance because Japan only I could first of all do robotics, and Japan is known for robots. It's the land of robots. So I'll hope if I can work with robots firsthand, I thought that would be like an incredible experience as a fresher. This college in the Sida Ache ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗೆ ಈ ತರ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದು. So I thought, okay, let me put in the effort to study the language. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ the only catch was ಅದು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ you had to commit. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ 4 hours a day ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲದಿಂದ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್ ಓದಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಶೋ ದೆಮ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್. ಸೊ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟು ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ದಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಮೈ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಐ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೇ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್. ಸೊ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ 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 ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ it was a startup culture. So everything was under not, it was not a very structured role. So now it was up to me how I wanted to take responsibilities or initiatives. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ನಾನೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ನಾನು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಅಂತ. ವಿಚ್ ವಾಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ತನಕ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬಾಸ್ ಇಂದ ಈಗ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಇದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ವೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಡೂ ವಾಟ್ ಯುರ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್. But ಇಲ್ಲಿ I got that sort of experience where I could take the initiative, be proactive. ನನಗೆ ಏನ್ ಕಲಿಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ಕ್, ಇದು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ, ಫೇಲ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. And that was the exposure I got in that engineering job. And that helped me build that sort of problem solving mindset. ಇವಾಗ ಏನೇ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ಬಂದ್ರೂ ಲೈಕ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅನ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಅವರ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್. And that built that sort of mindset which was, I thought, really helped me early on in my career. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ once I did robotics, I thought, okay, now that I've understood how robots work, let's see ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಕಲಿಬೋದಾ ಇದೇ ತರ ಅಂತ. And that time blockchain was a very popular thing, cryptocurrency ಆಗಲಿ, metaverse. So I thought, okay, AI ಇನ್ನು ಕಲಿಯೋಕೆ, let me explore other kinds of technologies, and that led me to consulting. Consulting ಅಲ್ಲಿ it is a very very fast paced role and very intense. So ಇವಾಗ every time you're thrown in a new project, ಅದು it's a completely new industry. So ಒಂದು project ಅಲ್ಲಿ I was working with amusement parks. Next project you're in CPG ಆಗಲಿ, retail ಆಗಲಿ, then you're thrown into a Fortune 500 some other company. So that was a very nice experience in terms of picking up new industry knowledge very fast. So, and it was because it was consulting, it was, not just technology, but also the business side. Hey, you use technology to help solve a problem, business problem, and help a company grow. So that was also, again, Japanese environment ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ it was challenging in one way, in the sense, in clients to Japanese, your teams are also Japanese. So English ಮಾತಾಡೋಕೆ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. So that helped me improve my Japanese also, and that communication agli, listening skills, small things. ಇವಾಗ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ, what we take for granted, that is not something I could do, because in Japanese you always have to be attentive, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. So I had to pay 100% attention.
Okay.
And other than I fell in love with that business side of things also, which is what I think ultimately led me to my MBA. I thought, okay, ಇವಾಗ engineering ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ, I understand technology, I understand a little bit of business, but a fundamental business knowledge such as, marketing agli, strategy, accounting. So although I didn't have that, so I thought, Adana, if I add this to my existing skill set, that would make me like a well-rounded leader. So that was what I was looking for, and I thought business school was the perfect place. Yeah, ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ you learn everything. You're in a classroom with some of the smartest people in the world, and pick that up. And then once I have that well-rounded skill set, then move post MBA to a career that I want.
Okay. Beautiful, story of, learning curve, I must say. The first question I just wanted to ask you, Akshay, is ಈಗ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, ನೀವು ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗಲೇ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ದೇ do the interview and they choose you and ask you to learn Japanese and get prepared for it. But to reach that level, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು position, so I'm sure there is a lot of preparation that was done. There are a set of things that you had to prepare for yourself to get into that space, first of all. So tell me more about it.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So our time only, this was, like you mentioned, it was a very new sort of opportunity. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಈ ತರ ಯಾರು ರೆಕ್ರೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಜಪಾನ್ ಇಂದ. So even from the Japanese side, they were also experimenting to see how we can hire Indians, if it is a good idea or not. So because it was a first time process, there was also a lot of pressure in terms of what their expectations ಇತ್ತು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ.
Mhm.
So on kadeli, ultimately you're going as an engineer, so technical side also matters as much as the Japanese language. So Adu, how do you showcase that, in terms of what you've learned and why robotics ugly, and again what is unique about you? And when you're competing, again, everyone's equally smart, everyone's very ambitious. So what helps you stand out also comes down to small things which are unique to you. And in my case, I think Nano, on one side, I was talking about all of my, the programming knowledge that I had. Although I was brushing up interview munche, nandu mechanical engineering degree nalo what I'd learned on Aquashveli. In a nutshell, if they another ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, can I talk about it, have a conversation like this, where it is natural, so that I can show that technically I have what it takes to succeed at the job.
Mhm.
And then also, sidely understanding how the recruiter thinks. They're from Japan, Allah. So the soft skills is a very, very important one. And they're very trust-based country.
Mhm.
Andre, a trust build ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ you have to show, you're humble, you're a good communicator, you have, emotional intelligence. So ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. And I was also talking to people I could who had some connection with Japan. ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಲಿ ಜನರು ಹೇಗೆ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲಸ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಲೈಕ್. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ once you do that research, then you showcase that in the interview that ನೋಡಿ I am not just I know what the job entails, but I know how the culture is.
Mhm.
How can I show that I'm a fit for this particular culture? I think that helped me connect well with the recruiters also. And ultimately, those are the sort of things that help the people who finally got in.
Great.
And yeah,
Fantastic. So you mentioned about a set of things which is like, emotional intelligence actually, communication skills actually. So how important is a soft skill for a college student, or for be it any working professional, one who wants to build a successful career? ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರೋದು ನಾನು ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಚೀವ್ಡ್, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ಡ್ 95%, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ಡ್ 90%. ಬಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ the first thing that when an HR asks a question, tell me about yourself, they
yeah,
cannot answer, not even for a 15-20 seconds. So that is
right.
the first setback that most of the students get, so how do you see this? We have in one space and we have this communication skills. How important, and um, how it has to go hand in hand to make it a career more soundful and successful?
That's a very, very important question. I think Nangu, 5 years back, career start ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ I knew it was important, but
Mhm.
ivaga when I look back, I realize it's very, very important. In fact, more than the technical skill.
Mhm.
So education in sigatte from the classroom is one thing, but adana when you take it to the corporate world on the other side, especially now, I think leadership roles have bandaga, when you start managing people ugly, when you start working with people from different cultures, it is so important to be able to show that side uh, of your profile.
Mhm.
And you ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಇವಾಗ first tell me about yourself. ನಾ ಇವಾಗ business ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲೂ that's the first thing everyone asks. ಇಲ್ಲಿ internship ಗೆ apply ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಇವಾಗ, so I working on it right now, as I can tell. That starting 2 minutes ಅಲ್ಲಿ when you communicate your whole story alva. So recruiters know that if you're already you have an engineering degree or you're doing an MBA, technically you are sound, but will you be able to work with people ultimately? Will you be working with your managers and peers ugly and the subordinates ugly? How well do you connect with them? How well do you understand them? How well can you communicate with each other, understand someone else's perspective? I think those are skills that no one talks about when you're in engineering or in undergrad. But those sort of skills are very, very crucial, which will help you stand out as you start going up the career. And I think that's also one of the key skills that Kellogg looked for. Like a Kellogg leader, anta there, it's a very big term here. But Kellogg leaders are who they call people who are emotionally also intelligent and technically intelligent. And ಅದನ್ನ build ಮಾಡೋದು I think is very, very important, and having the right set of mentors who can guide you on that, give you feedback. Feedback is
Mhm.
one other important part of my life. ಇವಾಗ when I talk to anyone new, I'm always looking for feedback to see what I can do better. And hurt ಆಗದೆ if someone gives you criticism ಕೊಟ್ರುನು, how can you take that and then use that to become better? Those sort of small traits help, I think, the next big CEO of a big company from to stand out.
Yeah. Now that
So
you said
yeah,
you've been a leader, like you've been nominated as a leader, huh? That's Kellogg leader. Is that
right.
the title? Okay.
Yeah. So when they, yeah, Kalaugali, that's
Yeah. So congratulations, first of all, for that on that. And uh, if I have to ask Akshay, on the five tips for our students, because you've seen that faces, and not just when I say communication, you have crossed that communication one step ahead, and you said, like, not just English, but you've learned another language altogether, and you've taken to the next level, so you understand that importance of communications, because as you said, in Japanese, listening is more important. That's
mm,
you can't miss anything out of it. So,
right.
if at all you have to suggest five tips to our students, what those five tips would be?
Okay. So let me see. I think number one would be definitely hard work. Like there is no
Mhm.
substitute for hard work. So, and I think ಅದು ಒಂದ್ ವರ್ಷ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್ ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೂ like the roles I've chosen in my career, they were very, you can't get comfortable. Like every time, there is a new challenge, you have to step up. So, and
Mhm.
always hard work was what helped me get through. And I believe that is number one, non-negotiable.
Mhm.
Secondly, I think would be to dream big and taking risks. So ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇವಾಗ when you are surrounded by your friends ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ as a student, so ಲೈಕ್ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಸೈಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಅಂತ, ಅಂಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಲುಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಸಿಕ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಓಕೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಇವಾಗ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಜಾಬ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ being hungry, to see what else is there, what other opportunities can I think of, well, something which is not my cup of tea, but something that could be your next big dream that you end up excelling for the rest of your life. You'll never know if you never take that risk. So our risk taking mentality, actually, being able to say no to small and mediocre opportunities just because everyone around you is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. So always that's another thing that I think has always been my mantra when I'm looking at any opportunity. And number three is the discipline. I think hard work is one thing, but ಅದನ್ನ ಅದು ಒಂದ್ ವಾರ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಎರಡ್ ವಾರ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ you get lazy again, ಬರುತ್ತೆ, you find an excuse. But being able to stick it through, whether ಮಳೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಗುಡುಗ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, you should be able to get up in the morning and say, okay, this is my goal. This is I'm going to get there no matter what. And that sort of tenacity also, I think, is another underrated skill and
Mhm.
something that everyone I would advise to develop straight out of college, so that your career you develop that thick skin. As better, I think four and five would be, one would be to um, get good set of mentors. I was also very blessed in terms of the people who were there to guide me with the and parents ugly surrounding Illidro. I had the right set of mentors who I could reach out to, ask for guidance, and mentors, older mentors, someone who's 5 years, 10 years down the line, who's where you want to be. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೀಚ್ ಆದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಅವರಿಂದ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು take that advice. We will see how you can incorporate certain things.
Mhm.
So that is also a very important thing that for lifelong. Adu you starting career, starting ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, end ತನಕ, are you willing to learn from people around you? Are you willing to take advice and filter out what is best for you? And that is another important one. I think number five, definitely again, I think would be, if possible, I would advise everyone to come out of India once, work abroad, independent agi. It could be not even out of India, but out of Illidare, wherever your closest, your hometown is. Live outside, live alone for a while, see what life is like. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮನೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗ್ಲಿ, how do you socialize, balancing ಕೆಲಸ, family ಎಲ್ಲ. That is also a very important thing. Independent ಆದ ಕೂಡಲೇ, I think that sort of self-sustaining ability goes a long way.
Mhm.
ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಯಾರ ಮೇಲೂ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ you can be put anywhere in the world and you will survive.
Yes.
So that is also like another sort of advice.
It's beautifully put. Like hard work, um, now getting out of the fear, consistency, feedback, and
Mentorship,
getting the
yes.
right mentors.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. So, ಈ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಏನು ವಿಶ್ವಾರೋಹ ಮಾಡ್ತಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಬೀನ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋರ್ ಇನ್ ಮೆನಿ ವೇಸ್ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ನ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಲೈಕ್ ದ ಒನ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ yes, of course, this is one of the materials that can be so insightful for students that once it is released. Yeah, so we are covering point 5. So the first thing is definitely students have to take that first leap for the first step. They have to come out of that shell and they have to make sure, they decide and take the side. So unless they ನೀರೊಳಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, but you can't make it drink the water.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one thing. So the first thing, hard work is something which every student has to decide and then take that as a part of it. And second thing is fear. Definitely, um, one of the uh, activity that we were trying to do is Voices of Tomorrow ಅಂತ VishwaAroha ಒಂದು ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ತರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. So we
Okay.
wanted students to record a clip of 2 minutes where they introduce themselves, ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವರನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು they have to talk about their dream work for like 1 minute. And of course, we do have exciting cash prize also announced for it. So I hope children take use of it, make use of it, and ಅವ್ರು ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಾಗೇನೆ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳುವಂತ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ಆಸ್ ಯು ಸೆಡ್, ದಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 minutes of that impression that you give to an interviewer or to a person who is asking you that question, that creates an image of who you are.
Absolutely.
Right? And what you can do. And beautifully said by you is that, one kade technology iratte, but also at the same time, you should also know how to manage people, how you can communicate with people, because you don't work all alone. You work in a company,
Exactly.
in an organization. There's a lot of people around where you have to communicate, where you have to, problem solving bandaga. So you have to be a part of that team. ಸೊ ಆ ಥರದ್ದು ಬಂದಾಗ ಸೊ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಈ ಥರದ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ as you said, for that, as you said, like you have to come out of it. You can't be in a very comfort zone. ಸೊ ನಾನಾಯ್ತು, ನನ್ನ ಮನೆ ಆಯ್ತು, ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು. So don't border yourself in a very small containment. So you have to step out and see what's apart from your comfort zone. So that is very important, and I'm sure that is what all these 5. So I'll just repeat it. The first one is hard work. The second one is you have to come out of the fear. Is that?
Risk taking. Yes.
Third one is consistency. You have to be consistent throughout. It's not like I'm so excited in the first 2-3 days, and the fourth day is like, okay, let me skip a day and try it out. So it doesn't work that way. And the fourth point is you have to make sure you have to take the feedback. You have to be open to critics. The fifth point is you have to have a good mentor. So these 5 points are very important for being a successful and also to have a very happening career. Is that okay? So I'm sure this 5 points is going to be very fundamental to most of our students. I think follow ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. Because we want these to be a testimonials from VishwaAroha, where ನಾವೀಗೇನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. Similarly, we want students from VishwaAroha in the, let's say, next 5 or 6 years, people to have a similar conversations and discuss for the next coming batches of students for VishwaAroha. So that is what we are looking for. That's what we are aiming for. Yeah. Akshay, you were just mentioning about this one part. There's a lot of technology that has been improving ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. There's a lot of things that have been changed, and you've also been a part of AI. You've been working with robotics. Tell me one thing, that we as humans looking for a job, and we are not just fighting, or like we are not just competing with humans now anymore. We are competing with a technology. We are competing with, you know, it's almost like thousand times faster than what even we are, about to think, right?
Yeah.
So that is where our competition is now. So how do you see this? Because you've been working with a lot of AI technology, you've been with robotics and things like that. So how do you
Mm.
see for any because for a fresher, because for us AI was something which is back then it was something new. Now it has become a part of our lives. Like, it has started getting into our lives, and the students that who are coming out of the college right now, for them it's like it's pretty hard. It's tough to get a job, even like, because you might be agreeing to this. The lot of jobs that has been also reduced, especially humans ka, because of
Mm.
robotics integration from a lot of companies that is happening. So how do you
Mm.
see this, and how do you uh, want our students to get adjusted? There's always a saying, like, with AI, it's like you can't compete with AI, but you should just try to
Um,
make control the AI, like, take charge of
right.
everything. So how do you see
Right.
this, Akshay?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So, to like what you said, I think AI has become normalized over the years, and with recently generative AI becoming popular, ChatGPT, ugly, all that coming up to the forefront.
Mhm.
So it has become a part of everyday life. Like even for me now, being in college, AI is a part of all my assignments or the research that I do.
Mhm.
And I feel like moving forward from a career perspective, AI replace will only replace those people who don't know how to use it well. And I feel like AI can be used to make your life easier as a working professional if you know how to make the best use of it.
Mhm.
And Adike, I feel like there are a lot of courses that are coming up, prompt engineering agli, or Gen AI bage, fundamentals. So that would be something I would ask every student who's in college now to do, or at least take up those free courses, Udemy agli, ಅಥವಾ Coursera agli, you can audit the course. And just understand the technology ಏನ್ ಮಾಡತ್ತೆ and how do you become friends with it to make your life easier. So even companies who are hiring are looking at people or are looking to hire people who can use AI to make, to optimize their entire workflow.
Mhm.
So ಇವಾಗ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂಚೆ ಇಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಯುನೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ನಾವೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಗೂಗಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇವಾಗ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ನೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅದು ಇದು ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ನ ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ರೀಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಯು ನೀಡೆಡ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಆರ್ MS ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಆಲ್ ದಟ್ ನಾವು ಚಾಟ್ GPT ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ 2 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಎರರ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಮೇಲ್ ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ಗೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು come up with a formal mail if you give it the right contents and then ask it to frame it a certain way. So those small tactical things day to day, how can you as an incoming employee identify where you can use AI to, you know, reduce time for those sort of small tasks. So that is what is going to, I think that is where everyone's going to go moving forward. And ಯೂಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಬೇಡ ನನಗೆ AI ಬೇಡ ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಿದ್ದವರಿಗೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸರ್ವೈವ್. I feel like the next person who is doing that and knows how to use AI will get
That
picked over
needs
you.
to be underlined.
So you, whether we like it or not, the world is moving towards that. So it only makes sense if you are faster in that race to adapt before
Yeah.
someone else does.
This
And
is
also if you can,
yes, sorry.
right, like just just identify not just where it is going and then how you can be a part of that.
Yeah.
And what is again your own unique skills paired with how this can augment that to make it faster or better
So
are the ones who come out on top.
there was a tweet yesterday. I was just reading it. AI ಅಲ್ಲಿ, someone was just blaming the AI. It's not giving you the giving me the right output and that. So someone had tweeted saying, there's no problem with the AI. AI is working absolutely fine. It is the humans who doesn't know how to use an AI because it has everything. It has a lot of information, but you should know what to ask it. You should know what exactly to be, what exactly you require. So AI is not confused. Like, the people who are asking it they are confused. So that needs to be
Absolutely.
corrected. right?
Correct. Yeah. So ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಅದೇ it's the people who need to understand how to use it, and ಅದು it's also changing very fast. I think ಇವಾಗ every couple of months ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is a new version of ChatGPT which is
Yes.
faster, better, images ಆಗ್ಲಿ, video data. There's so much happening. But identifying which part of it makes sense for you, what kind of career you're looking at,
Mhm.
and other basis mele you can see how ChatGPT itself will tell you how to use it for what you need, and it will only guide you. So
Yeah.
there is yeah, it's that advanced at this point. So I think ಹೇಳ್ತಲ್ಲ
Okay.
ಅದೇ so the sooner you accept that and start scaling up in AI, I think better for us as like career wise.
Yes. So, not taking too much of time, like we have what, 5 minutes now. There's another very important question that was, I just wanted to ask you is like, because you have been in that phase, learning from different, and you studied at Diksha, na? So your preparation was very much, confined, and it was very defined from the way, from your schooling, I must say. You wanted to get into IIT, so you tried to get into top technical schools in India. So your preparation was not in the college. Your preparation started way early in the school itself. So can you just give me a brief of that?
Yeah. So just to understand, you're asking how did I go about setting those goals of what I wanted to
Yes.
do in terms of preparation? I think that's a good question. So when I was in high school, I knew I wanted to do science. So I had a good time, ninth, 10th grade, early results, board exams, everything went how I wanted it to go based on my preparation then. So I thought, let me aim for some of the best, engineering technical institutes in India. And at the time, Diksha was for me the best choice in terms of the college. And again, preparing for JE, I think apart from the study aspect itself, it's the mental strength, like the CET ugly, JE ugly, to be able to come out in the top 1,000 or 5,000 ranks. That mindset of, okay, ಇವಾಗ you solve 100 problems and then you feel like, okay, ಇವತ್ತು 100 ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾಳೆ 100 ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾಡಿದ್ದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸುಸ್ತಾಯ್ತು 50 ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Then, a motivation fluctuates based on day to day. And I think that is the one of the key areas in my life where I realized how uh, that sort of discipline really matters. And then our last, I remember 12th grade early, I moved from home to hostel for the last 6 months, board exams munche, because I was wasting a lot of time traveling, and that was physically and mentally draining. So I'll hostel go I surrounded myself by a couple of like-minded friends who wanted to, get into a good college, who were ready to study together and become accountability partners. So those sort of little changes, lifestyle, when you make those changes, you can see the results slowly. So I think doing the same thing every day and then expecting the result to change will not happen. But you have to make those changes yourself. It could be very drastic lifestyle changes, but that is where the growth happens. Like you get uncomfortable for a bit, and then slowly you start developing or adjusting to the new lifestyle or the new changes or habits that you develop. And I think that was very helpful when JEE mains bardaglu, CET bardaglu. I was very calm because all the preparation till then, it was not 1 week before the exam, but it was like a couple of months of preparation from day one, where it was small steps that you took, knowing that that is the end goal, that you want to do well in CET or JEE. And yeah, I think to that point also, it comes down to
I
how.
think so from this, we all understand that ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಚೂಸ್ ಲೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ PUC ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀನಿ, ದೆನ್ ಐ ಚೂಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ. I think if we really want that dream job, the preparation starts much earlier, which most of us fail to understand, or fail to see through it. Allah. I think this is one beautiful thing, that starting early will make things do come true, which really happened to you, right?
Right.
I'm sure, like because that is also a reason that we wanted to start from 8th standard or 7th standard in VishwaAroha also. Like, most of the students that we wanted to give that information too much.
Hmm.
Like too much of information just go over the head and that.
Correct.
But we want to make
Howard.
sure that it starts early so that the fundamentals is
Correct.
very strongly laid. From there,
Correct.
as it goes on, as you said, like very beautifully, that meeting the right people at the right time will definitely make a lot of difference. So that becomes a very strong force to continue and be consistent of what the points that you mentioned, being away from the family and all this set of things which will happen. And then
Right.
from there, of course, like for any student who goes out of his comfort zone, the first thing that he would face is like that loneliness and a lot of
Ah.
challenges mentally, that he gets annoyed
Correct.
faster, and concentration gets diverged. As you said, like meeting right people at the right time is very important, and also this equally important that you don't meet the wrong people at the right time.
Yeah.
That
Correct.
will also
Correct.
that is also very important, especially
Correct.
because that is the age where there's a lot of things that you tend to explore, but in tendency to explore a lot of good things, also you tendency to
Hmm.
spend time on a lot of negative things as well. Even that is also a part of this conversation that needs to be there, right? Yeah.
Right. Career start ಆಗೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲೇ
Mhm.
ಜಪಾನ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹೌ ಆಫರ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ವೆನ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಾನ್ ಔಟ್ ಇನ್ ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಂಬರ್ 2019
Mhm.
ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಿನಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಕೇಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ವರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಓಕೆ ಸಾರಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲೆಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಗೋ ಅಂತ. And that was the first company, not the robotics company. Before
Mhm.
that, the original company that I'd gotten the offer from.
Mhm.
And they said, sorry, ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, but ಈ ಒಂದ್ ವರ್ಷ ಇವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ you studied everything, all that we understand, but there is no projects to give. So unfortunately, in your contract, there was one line that said we can let you go. So now we have to let the four of you go, Anta. And at that point, six of us. So at that point, there was a decision to either, okay, be like, okay, ಇದೇನಿದು ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅದು ಇದು cry about it, and be like, okay, one ವರ್ಷ waste ಆಯ್ತು learning everything, or I had a choice to continue learning. I told the other, my Japanese agent, that um, support ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು, they will look for another company or another interview, but we don't know when that will be. But we will continue teaching you Japanese for free,
Mhm.
improve your skills, everything, and you might have to wait until you get that chance. So I knew that my dream, and over that 1 year, I had decided I'm going to Japan. I'm going to start my career there. No, I'm not going to let that anything come in the way. So even though that was a very big uh, shock at the time, everyone else reacted very impulsively. Oh, you ruined my life, ಅದು ಇದು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋದ್ರು. But I was like, okay, fine, you can't control this. But what can I do next best? What is in my control? Can I continue persevering ಅಂತ? ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ it took me 6 months to get that first interview, which was the robotics company. It was 6 months after graduation. I didn't have a job.
Mhm.
I was trying to brush up, improve my Japanese. And that first interview that I got in December 2020, no, 2019, I wanted it so badly at that time that that passion was communicated very clearly because I had sacrificed so much at that time. Friends ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ start ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು already who had settled in India, but I knew I was doing something different. So I had to forget all that, peer pressure, ignore all that, focus on my goal. And then ultimately it did pay off. I ended up in Japan 6 months later.
Mhm.
And so that is also like one of the biggest failures I think I faced very early in before my career even started, and how I dealt with the situation and what it taught me. And that has been a recurring pattern later also in GMAT Pardaglo. When I wrote the exam 8 times when I was in Japan, first attempt Agila, second attempt Agila, I was looking at one of the best business schools in the world. So I knew I had to get a very good score. So that meant once if you don't get the score, second time you don't get the score, you can give up and be like, fine, I'll settle for some other smaller school. But if you decide that I want the best of the best, I knew that I had to get a better score. That means I had to make a new plan, study again while working, and go back, write it, go back, write it. I wrote it 8 times over the course of 2 years. So that also taught me that, okay, like, your small things like perseverance. Everyone says that they have willpower, but can you really show it? When the situation demands something like that, will you be able to go back and study again from scratch and give the exam again and again and again? And once I got my score in the eighth attempt, it was worth it. Like I knew, okay. And when I got into Kellogg, felt finally in the end, all those years of effort, the
Mhm.
failure did not matter. And no one cares about that. You need to make it once, and that's all it takes. But if you fail 100 times before that, nobody cares. So I got the provisional offer in the beginning of for final year.
Okay.
Then they trained me for 1 year in Japanese. So during my final year,
Mhm.
once I graduated,
So this
that
is
time
where
I had
the belige you used to have your colleges and evening 4 hours of
correct,
sessions at.
correct.
Okay.
So 1 year, did all that, and then I had my interview in Japanese. I passed that. I got the final offer. I was supposed to start preparing for visa and moving.
Mhm.
So I graduated parallelly. And then when this visa thing I thought was happening,
Mhm.
the agent one day randomly called all of us and said, come to the office. And there they were like, here's your termination letter. We're really sorry. So we thought instead of giving visa in the hand, they gave the termination letter.
This was given
And
by that company?
yeah, this was the first company
Okay.
which I was initially supposed to go for.
Okay.
And they said in the contract you've signed already, but that one line it said Japanese said at the contract, so I didn't see. So at time it was still very
Okay.
small, fine print only. There was that thing, and that was what. And from there, 6 months after graduation, I was unemployed, but I was preparing, waiting for my chance, waiting for the next chance for interview. And then 6 months later, which was end of 2019, was when I got the one interview for this robotics company. And I had to, the agent said that, okay, no pressure, but if you don't clear this, then God knows when the next interview we will get, because it took 6 months for us to find this one chance itself.
Yeah.
So,
So can just tell me, Akshay, because this is more about dealing with failures. We say like one success takes more than multiple failures to face. Even the face ali, I think most of us, give up ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇಗ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ. We tried like twice, thrice, 4 times, or maximum, let's say 10 times. But after that, maybe we lose that hope and we just somewhere, give up. What is that one thing that just holded you back and said, like, let's, because you said perseverance is one thing that definitely kept you going. But what is that one energy or what is that one power that, you know, is still holding you strong there?
yeah, I think for me, it's also a lot goes to my upbringing and my childhood in terms of the values I was taught growing up by my parents and everyone in the family. But it was always about, you know, developing that sort of mindset where failure does not affect me.
Mhm.
So failure, like you mentioned, failure is a part of life. So when you're applying for a high-paying job early college and when you're an undergrad, so you'll apply to hundreds of companies. You will get that many rejections also. It's not like 100 companies will interview you, but a rejection bandaga, it'll start affecting your self-esteem if you let it, right? You will start feeling like nan skills ilva, ability ilva, yaru interview ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, and that's very common. But it's those exact situations where you need to have a grip on yourself to tell yourself that this is not over until I win. And Avansati, if you have that end goal in mind, and I think that was my biggest North Star throughout my entire life. Every time I've had a goal, uh, I always used to look at that goal, think of that goal, and it not matter how many times on a day-to-day basis if I failed. ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, doesn't matter. Can you still keep getting back up next morning with a smile on your face and say, today, how can I make today count? And I think life eventually rewards that sort of behavior, that sort of mindset, especially when you're shooting for the biggest or the riskiest goals in life. And I think that's also something that is very important to me that even I'm trying to train even now. Being in business school, I've seen a lot of rejections here also, applying for internships and jobs. But I know that, okay, I've come this far. I know I will go further from here. How can I get back up every
Mhm.
single time I fall?
Nice.
And
So
this
you,
is
you were just saying, like, you had a couple of your other friends as well, who were not who really got annoyed with the process that happened. They got rejected. करके. But you
Yeah.
said you were so perseverant about sticking to it and following it. And you just said a beautiful thing. You 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 thought like happened is happened. Like you can't change that. So you can't
Yeah.
change the past. So that's so beautiful. Said. Like, the past we cannot change, but for tomorrow we can work today and make things accordingly. And tomorrow can be shaped the way we want it. That's beautifully put line, Akshay. So
And I think ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಆ ತರ ಫೇಲಿಯರ್ ನೋಡ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ nothing scares me. Like I think if I could, especially graduate ಆದಾಗ, ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ it was very difficult because coming out of a college, BMS ತರ college ಇಂದ when you come out, everyone expects you to have a job straight out of this thing. And I was one of those few people who took the risk. So ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದವರೆಲ್ಲ ದೇವರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಾರಿ ಅದು ಟರ್ಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಬಂದ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೇವರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ ಇದು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದಾಗಿತ್ತು ನಮ್ ತರಾನೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದಾಗಿತ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ನೋ ಗುಡ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಅದು ಇದು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಗಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೇವರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ಯಾನ್. ಲೈಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಹೇಳೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದ್ ದಿವಸ ಒನ್ ಡೇ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಓಕೆ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮಂಗೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಈ ತರ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಏಜೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ವೆರಿ ಸಪೋರ್ಟಿವ್ ದೇವರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಡ ಅಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಪುಷಿಂಗ್ ದೆನ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಜಾಬ್ ಅದ್ ಬರ್ಲಿ 1 ತಿಂಗಳಾಗ್ಲಿ 2 ತಿಂಗಳಾಗ್ಲಿ ನೀನ್ ಜಪಾನಲ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಆ ತರ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕೇರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎನಿವನ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ಮೀ ನೆಗೆಟಿವಿಟಿ. ಒಂದ್ ದಿವಸ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ವೆನ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಸಿ ಮೈ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟೋಕಿಯೋ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ನೋ ದಟ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಿಡಿಂಗ್.
yeah,
And that resilience built ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ you feel like okay any goal in life like you can do it. ಅಂದ್ರೆ it might not happen in the first attempt but
yeah.
eventually ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that high paying job ಆಗ್ಲಿ or the best college ಆಗ್ಲಿ whatever it is will.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you just out of curiosity, Akshay, Indra, how do you want to see yourself in next 2 years?
Yeah, I think ಇವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ it's been a very challenging experience. I think ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದು ಒಂದಾಯ್ತು ಬಟ್ ಬಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ I've realized ಇವಾಗ there are 500 of similar Akshay's ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So when you're dealing with 500 people like that, again ಎಲ್ಲರೂ they're gunning for the same kind of jobs. ಇವಾಗ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಲಿ all these top paying jobs. And some people made it, some people didn't. So, and I saw a lot of rejection starting December, January, went through a lot of rejections. So, again, it's some people are not used to they're seeing rejection for the first time. To get into a school like this, everyone's been the best of the best in whatever they do. So now, once you're not the only best, how do you, some people, and then peers, I've seen how they deal with rejection. They're like, oh, life, ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ you've spent so much business school ಬರಕ್ಕೆ on was it worth it ಅಂತ. But now I'm still interviewing for my internships. I don't know where summer ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಇನ್ನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. I'm still in the process. But I realized coming out of this, I want to either still keep my Japan option open. I would love to still go back to Japan sometime because I'll also have built a network. I have connections and I understand the culture. So that is one option. Or in US ಅಲ್ಲಿ I'm looking at big tech. So ಇವಾಗ Amazon ಆಗಲಿ Netflix, Meta ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಆಗಿ I thought that would be a nice short term goal. So ಇವಾಗ robotics ಆಯ್ತು ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಯ್ತು. So, PM would be intersection of business and tech. So that would be nice exposure. ಮತ್ತೆ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ irrespective of Japan ಅಲ್ಲಿ or US ಅಲ್ಲಿ then maybe look at entrepreneurship in the long run, preferably in India.
Nice.
That's the long term vision.
I'm sure like whatever you have planned will come true. And we're
Yeah,
happy to
thank
see
you.
you in these places.
It's testing again. I think life ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. I think last 3 months ಅಲ್ಲಿ I've gotten 70-75 rejections so far. So every day mail ಬರುತ್ತೆ one company ಇಂದ sorry we
Okay.
don't want to proceed. We don't want to proceed. So like it's not like 100 ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇವಾಗ. I think 120 companies.
Hmm.
I think 5 to 6 companies ಇಂದ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. And I think right fit illiratte, eventually it'll work out. If you keep putting the effort where
Mhm.
you're meant to be, you will get there. So, faith is it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think just open-minded ಕೊಂಡು make the best of each day. ಏನ್ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ, so talk to new people,
Mhm.
attend events, ಅದು ಇದು.
So just talking to people and ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ I just remembered you mentioned about you had started a group, um,
ಹಾ,
networking group, and it turned out to be very powerful network for you, which
right.
gave you a lot of insights and a lot of good network of people. So tell me about that.
Yes, I think I really love getting to know people. So when I was applying for business school after my eighth GMAT attempt, and I was finally ready to start my essays, I realized that the MBA application process is very complex or complicated. So there is so much happening. You have to write so many essays, recommendations, to attend the sessions of the school. So I realized that if I'm feeling that much overwhelmed, there might be people like me who are facing something similar.
Mhm.
So what if I could create a small group where we could share information, help each other out, maybe build each other's confidence. So it was meant to be like a 10, 15 people group with just who are applying to the US. But I found two other people with me who had a similar vision to bring people together. And it started off like that small group, but people started sharing it with their friends once they started seeing value. And this was not for money, this was purely a non-profit. So we just had that sort of leadership role to facilitate discussions. But that blew up so fast in that in the next 3 months it blew up to 2,000 people from
That's
40 different countries and all over the world, from Ghana, Nigeria to Singapore, Japan, India, and all of them came together. And even though these are potentially competitors, because all of us are applying to the same schools, I'm technically someone's competitor. It was amazing to see how well the community came together to be able to share resources, whatever they knew about a school, any events that came up, they would share information. They were ready to do mock interviews with each other. So that really that power of community, I learned about collaboration through that group. And I was hosting sessions similar to this for, you know, with alumni of schools like Kellogg, Harvard, where they would share their knowledge and give their insights about how to make it to these schools. So that was, I think, one of my proudest achievements outside my professional career.
Mhm.
So to be able to say that I've built this community across the world where I have friends from 30, 40 different countries in the world because that vision was very clear and how I wanted to bring people together.
Yeah. So from a person of building such community, and today we have you with VishwaAroha talking to us, sharing your insights with our students. Uh, to our students, how would you say? Because you had interaction with our students last time in one of the Vishwaroha session, and because of you, we could title it as the first international workshop, the seminar. So that is how you added so much to Vishwaroha. So as a person of building such huge networks, what is your input to Vishwaroha or be it to our students? Well, how do you see as a community? What is the possibility what are the potential that as a community that we can grow?
Yeah, I think the fundamental idea of the community is very solid, which is why I think Vishwara has like very, very good potential in terms of similarly what I was talking about, that collaboration element. Now, I have with these students from different parts of the state or different cities all coming together from different colleges. There is so much potential for them to just learn from each other. There's only so much that one person knows. So what I know, but I don't know what I don't know, and all that I can learn by talking to people around me and having a platform like this where you have not just your own peers who come together, but you also have access to mentors and leaders who are ready to advise you and guide you. So I think you touched upon this early on, but it's just in that hands of the student to just take that leap of faith, take that initiative to say, okay, I'm scared, I'm nervous because this is a big platform, there's a lot happening. But can I reach out to even one person at a time and talk and see what they can tell me? And
Mhm.
from there, get connected to the right set of people who can lead you and help you get to where you want to be. Like, not even someone else's goal, it's your own goal. Have that goal, have that vision, have a simple idea of what your interests are. Come to the platform, and I think there are a number of people here who can mold them the right way. And I think that network effect will grow exponentially in the very, very quick time frame.
Yeah. So we just started the triple now. Only thing is, see, we've now ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, so the whole conversation we're trying to have this is, end of it, ನಮಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು participate ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, it makes all the difference, unless
Absolutely, absolutely.
students participate and they ask questions to us, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಂತ ನಾವು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ then we can just
Exactly.
start out, putting out things for them and, give them that picture how it's supposed to be and also. ಸೊ
Correct.
ಆ ಒಂದು ಆ, ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಏನಿದೆ. ಸೊ what
Hmm.
how is that need, how that can be, ignited? So what is that one thing that students should make sure that, they ask the questions. More the questions they ask,
Hmm.
more the knowledge they gain. So what is that one point that they need to focus to ask questions on? How do they start cultivating that habit?
Yeah, I think that curiosity element is very, very important, especially about things you don't know. Because in school also, I think you will be taught, science, maths, etc. And you are biased to sort of think that, okay, that means I can become what my dad has become or what my mom has become, because that's what you've been exposed to. But being able to, when you come to a platform like this, where you can be exposed to different things, it's on one side, the community's responsibility that would expose them to say that, okay, these are the careers that exist. And then I think initially, at least because that inertia exists with a one-to-one, maybe in a group setting, people would not be comfortable to voice their opinion. Uh, Experimenting with different mediums, that could be through forums or could be one-on-one conversations, or talking to the teachers of these students, whether what
So
they can come up with.
So what we have been doing
Uh,
is like ಈಗ ಒಂದು we have this one day event which is happening every year. So
yeah,
but Vishwaroha aims at not just doing one day of event and just leaving it.
correct,
So we
correct.
have groups, we have different groups, different resource persons to add it to each groups, where students have to participate and ask questions in the group or be it person, as you said. So
Hmm,
that
hmm, hmm.
activity has to happen. So once that starts, generating a lot of information to us, so we
Right.
can also try to navigate them and tell them, this is the guidance, this is the direction that you need to pursue towards.
Hmm,
So
hmm,
that
hmm.
action has to happen.
So I think one simpler way that I can think of would be, um, again, with very low effort, having a chat like this. Preferably, I think starting at Kannadaliದ್ರೆ it would be better. But like
Mhm.
a 30-minute call, if people can't come together in one room all the time, then if people have access, this I mean, assuming people have access to
Internet.
Zoom or like on a platform, if they can tune in maybe once in 2 weeks or once a week through the whole year, just one career ಬಗ್ಗೆ, someone who's worked in any field, very low lift, low key chat, like a fireside chat,
Yeah.
not a polished version, but basically them ಕೆಲಸ ಏನು, what do you do, how do you get there, what did you study, what is your day to day like. So ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, and if they have any advice on their own about, okay, what does this industry mean, ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, where is this going, what are the different roles apart from my role which is related to this field, just some tidbits like that. And they just exposed to, let's say, over the course of 10 weeks or 3 4 months, they're exposed to 10 15 careers. Then taking feedback or inputs about, okay, now that you've been taught about all this, where do people's interests lie? What some career sounds more lucrative than others, maybe because accessibility or ಆ ಥರ ಏನಾದ್ರು patterns emerge ಆದ್ರೆ,
Mhm.
then it's easier than being able to logistically facilitate one-on-one conversations with 300 kids. It's difficult.
Makes sense.
So at least that will get some thoughts in their head about, okay, interest ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು 30 ನಿಮಿಷ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ ನಂಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟನೇ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. That's still a data point.
Yes, yes.
So tracking attendance, and then if you attendance in there, maybe you could also float a form after each call, and then just ask ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ, just put basic, very simple form, open-ended, one question. What did you think of the session? What did you like or dislike? Something like that. Okay, maybe you can structure that. So I think Atra, if you have enough data points, then 6 months admin, it will be very easy to target exactly where to put efforts. Like, Atra
Right.
sessions make sense. What kind of experts would you want? Where would you want to invest money to host what kind of event?
Because we have
This
the
would be
spectrum itself is wide, because like we have from 8th standard till postgraduate students, like all attending one.
right,
So
right,
that's
right.
huge.
That,
Exactly. So
correct.
keeping it very
Point one.
simple, and also, without boring out the PG students or the graduate students, because like,
Correct.
so that is where the point, that's a very thin line down there, because too much of
Right.
information is like over digestion, and like very simple is like too boring. So that is what VishwaAroha.
ಆ ತರ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಕೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಕ್ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಲೈಕ್ ಈ ತರ ಕಾಲ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ geared towards kids, geared towards them. That level of conversation, the depth of the conversation will be tailored to whose attendance.
Yeah.
But
So
I think exposure.
previous year, that was what was tried. With your session, it was more categorized to, it was more channelized to the post graduation students and graduate students. So it was more.
Right.
So adallade, we had this regular resource persons, those sessions in it. So that was from 8th standard to 12th standard. That is how it was kept. So yes, Akshay, it's been a wonderful conversation with you. Whatever the conversation that we had, lot of good insights. I think your expertise is bringing a lot of good ideas and a lot of inputs to our students and our people, the one who are watching. ವಿಶ್ವಾರೋಹ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್, ನಿನ್ನ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆರ್ ನಿನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ವುಡ್ ದಟ್?
I think that's a great question. I think already Ivaga, the community has come together on this mission, which is absolutely wonderful to see. So I think ಇದನ್ನೇ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗೆ I think that benefits will start coming out for everybody along the way. And it's really nice ಈ ತರ already ಬೇರೆ fields ಅಲ್ಲಿ you have experts who are ready to share what they know. And students ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ I would highly recommend or request that ಈ ತರ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ನೀವಾಗಲಿ, just feel free to make the best use of that and reach out. I think ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನೇ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಮುಜುಗರ ಆದ್ರೂ just trust that okay, the other person will genuinely guide. So I trust ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು just take that leap of faith and ask. So first question and the second question, third question, however, you will get more clarity. And that is what has been helpful for me. Nanagu, I was always been curious. I'll just ask if I have a doubt. And eventually you get the right answer. So itara platform iddaga, it's very easy to get the right answer. So ಅದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಇದು ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇನ್ನು ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್, ಒನ್-ಟು-ಒನ್ ಮೆಂಟರಿಂಗ್, ಏನೇ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರು, if they take the proactive effort, I think they would be very well set ಕಾಲೇಜಿಂದ ಆಚೆ ಬಂದಾಗ to excel in their career.
Yes. Thank you so much, Akshay. ಸೊ ಅಕ್ಷಯ್ ಹೇಳ್ದಾಗೇನೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಷನ್ ಭಾಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕಂತ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕರಿಯರ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಇನ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ನಮಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೂ ಪ್ರಿಸೈಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಒಂದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ಅಕ್ಷಯ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ good energy that has been passed on to VishwaAroha conversations through this episode. So may this continue, and may this, ripple with a lot of good energy and to many more conversations such as such. Akshay ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ವಿಶ್ವಾರ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸ್ ಎ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, and he's going to be there till the last. I thank Akshay once again for all your insights and for your valuable time with us. Hope to see you soon again. And thank you once again. Thank you so much.